We don't know what's going on, but it's creepy. And then, she comes around the corner, and I about threw that iPad. Krasue, head with dancing intestines, witch with flying head. These are all different names for an entity from Asia. In Thailand, they call her Krasue. Penanggalang, I believe, is Malaysian. She usually appears as a beautiful woman, but just the head part. She's got her entrails hanging down, and it's usually just the heart and like the stomach, because she has desires and she's hungry. She is often associated with harassing pregnant women. And perhaps this is because the idea is these entities were once vain women in life, and because of their vanity and just evil, they become these vampire-like creatures. But because it's Asia, right, they just don't look like spooky women. They're creatures. It's a flying head. And it's not just a flying head. It's got all this stuff hanging down, and it's terrifying. So pregnant women they do not like. Is it a jealousy thing? Is it just that like it's feeding on the blood, it's feeding on the babies, this witch stuff? But there seems to also be an association with young girls when they start menstruating. And the one case that I know of an actual sighting of one of these types of things, it wasn't a pregnant woman who saw it, though it was a woman. I can only assume what was going on the night that she saw this thing looking through a window. I would also be curious to find out, she just described it as a head. I don't know if it was androgynous, but I do know it's quite freaky. Do y'all have any stories of waking up in the middle of the night and seeing a head staring at you through the window? Because that's exactly what happened to my friend Becky. She was watching her favorite show. I believe she was on summer break, so she was staying up late, and she just felt like something was watching her. When she turned around and looked through the window, she saw what she described as just this mangled head, just floating there looking at her, and she was so terrified she turned away, and when she looked back, it was gone. You've been hearing a piece of music throughout this video and the past couple shorts I uploaded. The title of this track is called Krasue, and it was being created as my friend Danny was remembering this story of Becky seeing the floating head outside her window. And I get a message on my phone as I'm sitting there at the keyboard droning along with what my son is creating before me. And Danny texts me the wiki link to Penanggalang, the Malaysian entity. And he's all just excited because he's remembering this and sharing this weird story with me and saying like, look, like there's an actual thing over in Malaysia that's kind of similar to this. And I know immediately what it is. And I'm freaked out because, I've listened to this track my son has created. And I asked him, what'd you call it? And V said, I called it Krasue, Dad. Now, Krasue is what they call this nocturnal flying lady spirit in Thailand. In Thailand, they call the floating head lady spirit Krasue. And it's virtually the exact same thing as the Penalangan in Malaysia. The reason Virgil and I both know about the Krasue is because of a game called Eyes, the horror game. Years and years ago, my son has an iPad, and he's familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's, but at 4 years old, he knows, he's not really ready for that. But he wants me to search for horror games. Maybe we'll find something free, something not too freaky. And the power of how you title your product, Eyes, the horror game. They could have just called it Eyes, and it would sound real clean and cool. Eyes, it's called Eyes. But no, they were smart, and they called it Eyes, the horror game. So when I typed in horror game, here we go. Eyes. And it's a really cool game where you learn how you're playing it intuitively. By playing the level, you learn what the game is about, what's going on. And so I love how it's a mystery, it reveals itself like that. And it's a first-person game. You're moving through this house, and it's called Eyes because there's eyes on the wall, and when you touch the eye, I think like you get to store it, but then you can use those eyes to be able to see where the Krasue is. Now, you don't know at first what Krasue is. You just know all of a sudden you're seeing the POV of something else moving through the house. But you use this to be able to know where she is, so you can finally figure out how to escape and get out of there before she gets you. So the first time Virgil and I are playing this, I'm in my lazy boy recliner, and he's in my lap, and we've got the iPad. And, when she gets close, you can hear her going, ah, and the lights are flickering. And we don't know what's going on, but it's creepy. And then, bah, she comes around the corner, and I about threw that iPad through the air. We both jumped so high. It was just such a great moment. I mean, it's up there with, gosh, watching Aliens as a kid and seeing the scene where the Marines find the woman cocoon and the chest burster comes out of her chest. I mean, it was just one of these, for me, great experiences in horror media, and just something that, my son, that sharing that moment with my son, like, we just cherish that forever. And that's why we love horror. So, yeah, my son basically created this cool track that you've heard, and he called it Krasue because it gave him that vibe, that feeling that he got from the game, Eyes, the horror game. So I'm trying to explain this to Danny, and he doesn't get it at first, so I call him, and I'm just like, did you see, what I sent you? Are you... And part of the reason why he didn't get it is because the track was called Krasue, and he's talking about the Penalangan. So they're two different things, but they're the same thing. So once Danny realizes, and he's like, wait a minute, you're telling me that I sent you this, and I'm talking to you about this entity and how it's a thing, but my wife saw it as a young girl in Mississippi. What? You're telling me that V was recording a track in tribute to this creature at the same time? And I said something to Danny that he said to me, our sons know before we do. They know what's going on, and that's what the Werecat cultist is all about, being possessed by these ideas and putting these ideas into action. We can change our minds because time and time again, I'm reminded, you have everything you need to get started. Now do the work.